I'm Sarah Jo, your host here in the Diamond Lane on Classic 107 in Winnipeg, and we have current director of Renaissance Voices, as well as poet collaborator Sue Sorensen here in the studio, Janet Brenneman. Welcome, Renaissance Voices, their presentation of this new program all about the Virgin Mary in this musical and poetic fusion, union of ideas. That's happening tomorrow night and Saturday night, 8 p.m. at Young United Church, 222 Furby. Ladies, welcome back to the Diamond Lane, Janet, and for the first time, Sue.
Lovely to be here.
Thank you, Sarah Jo.
Thank you so much for joining us. So let's just get started right away with the concept of this Love Songs for Mary program. How did the genesis happen?
Well, it was probably about a year ago, and Sue and I are colleagues together at Canadian Mennonite University, and she was doing some reflections in one of our chapel services on Mary, and had written some lovely poetry and reflections. And I said to her a little while afterwards, I said, I think it would be great if we could collaborate, looking for a project that we could do something with Renaissance Voices, because Mary is. It's central, to this story, to Advent, to Christmas, and I know that Sue is a lovely writer, and I just thought it would be kind of fun to a good experience to have her write something for us. I had no idea she was going to come through with an entire song cycle, so that was a delightful surprise. Amazing.
Well, so Sue, tell us how when you're commissioned to write something, whether it's by a colleague or not, how do you approach this? How was your creative process?
Well, this is a fairly new experience for me to be commissioned in this way, and it was a complete delight to know that someone is waiting for your work. Writers often are writing into nothingness. Writers are very solitary people, and you don't know whether anyone wants your words or not. So I knew that Janet, as a friend, wanted to see something, and so it was a delight to do this. And then to head into thinking about Mary. I'm a Protestant, what does Mary mean to me? And the whole thing became very surprisingly meaningful, and I approached the topic of Mary, the mother of Jesus, as sort of a woman looking at a woman. All the divine stuff is in there, but I was very interested in her as a person. What kind of person was she? We don't know, but I thought maybe she was sort of like me and like Janet, and I don't know. So it's a very informal, intimate, personal investigation of this person who's really important in the history of Christianity and the history of the world. And so it was really a fascinating project for me to work on. So
then how is that woven together? How are these works that you, Janet, have programmed, how are they married in the concept?
Well, I really let Sue's words guide me in then choosing repertoire. So her words came first, and then the repertoire came afterwards. And, little phrases within the poetry would, now that reminds me of, this particular piece, or, we have to do Hassler, Dixit Maria, because that's just so central, to what I was hearing in Sue's poetry and to the story itself. We have to sing an Ave Maria, not just any old Ave Maria, though. We have to sing one that I think is going to play off a little bit on, we don't really know who she is, or what kind of person she is. And so I chose David McIntyre's Ave Maria, which is a very playful rendition, and just those two words over and over and over, right, for 6-part women's chorus. And so it's, for me it was really it wasn't an easy process, I won't say that, but it was a joyful one. I probably, could have programmed music that would have us, in a concert for 3 days. So I had to pare it down a little bit and choose sort of only what I thought was going to be the best complement to the words.
And also to the ensemble, I think, right? Renaissance Voices, let's talk just a little bit about the composition of the ensemble. It isn't just a women's chorus. Although this is a 6-part, the work that we were just talking about, the David McIntyre. But let's talk about the ensemble a little bit. And for those unfamiliar with Renaissance Voices, just give us a little snip.
Well, Renaissance Voices has been a real gift to me, actually. They've been around for just over 20 years and founder director Derek Morphy was with them for 16 years, and then I have been with them since 2012. It is a mixed ensemble: soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. Community members, lots of music educators, but also people from all different walks of life. So we have teachers, we have those who are in construction, we have those who are in the insurance business, and just people that just love to sing together, love the joy of singing together. And they really, for me, are the true example of what it means to be a community chorus.
Brilliant. We are in the studio right now with Janet Brenneman, director of Renaissance Voices, as well as Sue Sorensen, poet, writer, collaborator on this project, Love Songs for Mary, that is happening tomorrow night and Saturday night at Young United Church, 222 Furby. Adults, $25, students and seniors, $15. And they're available at the door, of course, or McNally from choir members. Let's talk a little bit more about the ensemble and about the tradition that you present your Christmas and Advent rather concert in. I mean, this is a comfortable, mixery type gig, hey?
Well, it is, yes, because your $25 ticket gets you a glass of mulled wine as well, or hot apple cider, whatever you prefer. And our guests sit at lovely round tables with tablecloths and candlelight, and they're served mulled wine and hot apple cider, and I often say that the music likely gets better the more mulled wine you might consume. But it's a fairly intimate setting and informal. You're sitting there with your friends, and then the choir comes out and we sing and interact a little bit with the audience. And so I think it's just such a really lovely setting. It's one that suits our personality as an ensemble. I
think so too. I think it's well put. And also, I mean, Renaissance Voices, we talk about your title as an ensemble, kind of alluding to a particular era of music, but you run the gamut of things. And in fact, there's so much 20th century music on this program. Tell us a little bit about that as well.
Well, the sounds of Renaissance music pairs very well with the sounds of much 20th century choral music as well. And I always admired that about Derek Morphy's programming, and he had done that very well. And so I've carried on that tradition. And so, we might in fact present, a setting of Aloha Rose from, the 16th century, and then one where it's been arranged, by a much more contemporary composer, let's say. And we try to mix, or pair these pieces together in that sense. But, Praetorius sounds equally fine against Eric Whitacre, for example.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Eric Whitacre with his kind of sound walls, and Pärt with his divine minimalism, that idea of that sparseness and that texture, coming back from the Renaissance. That's absolutely, that's great. Well, we're looking forward to it. And you know what? I would love to give away some tickets and a CD.
That'd be great.
While Janet and Sue, while you're both still here. Again, this is happening tomorrow night and Saturday, 8 p.m. at Young United Church, 222 Furby Street. Renaissance Voices, Love Songs for Mary, featuring such a wonderful, variegated program, all with the underlying theme of Mary and featuring the poetry, the song cycle of Sue Sorensen. This is going to be a really, really great. Let All God's Glory Through the Mary Cycle is what it's titled. Is that right, Sue?
That's right, yes. And there are prose poems in here and sonnets, some rhymed, some unrhymed. So there's some different forms of poetry that I was experimenting with.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, from her perspective or from others' perspective?
From my perspective, mostly me talking sort of with and about Mary and about Jesus, yeah.
Excellent.
And the thrilling thing for me is that right at the center of this program, one of my poems has been set to music by Jesse Krause, who's a member of the choir, local rock musician, instrument inventor, oratorio writer, etc.
With whom Renaissance Voices works quite frequently.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, brilliant.
Yes, he's a fine member of the baritone section.
Excellent. So definitely a Winnipeg contingent in there. Wonderful. Love Songs for Mary. I have a pair of tickets to give away. We are going to play something that you will be performing tomorrow night. In fact, Joy Shall Be Yours in the Morning, Randall Stroop. Again, here from Renaissance Voices, in this case, conducted by Derek Morphy. But if you join them on Friday and Saturday, you will see Dr. Janet Brenneman at the helm. And of course, Sue reciting. Excellent. We are looking forward to it so much. For that lucky person who wants to win these tickets, when I press play on this Joy Shall Be Yours in the Morning, you can call me at 204-336-1071. Thanks for joining us, ladies.
Thank you.
Lovely.